Hey everybody, how you all doing? Welcome to our third podcast. We're really enjoying these, by the way. Like I said, we've never done these before, and it's been really, really good. Um, Today's a special one. Today we've got a crazy Gunners fan
Come on,
by the name of King Jones.
make some noise.
Yeah,
We have our senior member Shinobi Ahmed.
yeah,
Um,
how's it
how you
going?
doing, bruv?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you guys?
Excellent, man. Excellent. So, like I say, people, this is our third one. We're really enjoying it. I mean, we've had some positive things come back from it. People are loving it, and that's what we want to see. We want to create positivity from these things and connect with different fans from all over the world, maybe even all over Europe. So, this is what we want to do. So, I think it's working, and I think we really enjoy it. So, it's good. Let's go straight to it. Let's go to the Arsenal.
Come on.
Okay, King Jones, talk to us about yourself, man. What you been up to, bro?
Oh man, I can't complain. Obviously, I've got my own YouTube page that I run with my friend. He calls himself the Podmaster. Yeah, and the Podmaster. And we got like several shows on non-stop content. If you find that, guys, make sure you follow us. Stuff like the football pull-up. We talk a little bit about politics, but it's a lot of banter. We like to laugh. Same as non-stop content on Instagram, and that's most of the time when you'll catch me. Or I'll be shouting at the TV about Arsenal.
So, tell us, man. I mean, Arteta, good manager, bad manager, or you don't know yet?
I mean, any manager who wins the FA Cup within 7 months is it's a good manager.
But if any manager did that for Arsenal, he would be a good manager, right?
It depends, innit? It depends. The way he took over, innit, and what he's done from when he's taken over to now has been good. You know what I mean? I respect all the moves he's made. You know what I mean? So far,
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I actually like the style of football he plays. It's really good. I think he obviously benefited from working alongside Pep. But he looks like it's the players want to play for him. It does look that way. So that's a positive thing. And he looks like he's changing a lot at Arsenal. I mean, you've got some good young talent there.
No, but let's not talk about Arsenal. Let's talk about Villa. You guys have completely turned around.
Yeah,
You guys won the best transfer window of the season. You guys are playing 10 times better football than you did last season. Bringing in Barkley, brought in my goalkeeper Martinez, which I'm still crying about. Like, I'm still crying about that. I'm devastated. I think he's one of the best goalkeepers in the league, hands down. And like some of the football you've played, even when you lost against Leeds, Jack Grealish, oh my God, it's insane. Like, I watch you guys and the football is just, it's crazy.
Well, you know what? We've got a super Jack Grealish fan in Shinobi. Actually, Shinobi, not most recently, met up with the you met and spoke to Martinez, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. I want to say I met up with him like he's my mate, but yeah, I did bump into him actually just yesterday. In fact, I seen him at the local petrol station putting some fuel in his. Don't even know what car it was, to be honest. But yeah, absolute. You know what, legend. I mean, similar to yourself, a lot of Arsenal fans are sort of not too happy, let's say, with Martinez going. Just solid, wasn't he? I mean, he came into that Arsenal team back end of last season, stole the show. I mean, and like you said, went on to win the FA Cup, the Community Shield. And I think that's where he realised again, didn't he, that I need to be, out there playing regular football, etc. And like I said, thank God he chose us, man, because he's been a blessing here.
And it's weird, when I watch you guys here, it's like, no disrespect. When Martinez first wanted to leave Arsenal to go to Aston Villa, I was confused. And then 3 or 4 games in, I'm like, he made the right choice.
To be honest, he looks like a player that has played for us for a few seasons when he's really settled.
I think with Martinez, he just oozes in confidence, doesn't he? He provides that solidarity, especially to the back four. And it's as I mean, not that I'm an ex-footballer or a defender or anything, but as a defender, there's nothing more assuring than having a safe pair of hands behind you. And he's been like I said, like you've said, in fact, 3 clean sheets in his first 3 games. And he's just overall, you can just see, in the stature of a goalkeeper what he's like, and he's been brilliant for us. But he's a beast in real life as well. I met him, stood next to him. We had a bit of a social distance picture, but brilliant guy. He's brilliant guy. Yeah.
King Jones, how are you finding watching games from home at the moment? I mean,
I mean, I used to go to. I don't know if I probably didn't go to as much games as you guys, but I used to go to at least a few games a season. And every game, the last couple of games I've been to, we lost. You know what I mean? So we lost against Chelsea, we lost against Crystal Palace. So it wasn't so bad, but I do miss it. I miss the ability of going, and I miss the fans being at the stadium, because sometimes I feel like the players need a little kick when you're like the teams are not going too well. You just want to say, Mustafi, defend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I miss it, but I just love the fact that football's back. I'm just so happy to watch players play, and watching it from home is better than not watching it at all for me.
No, I mean, I think it's a massive positive for people on a mental health issue as well, because it gives that positivity to people. It gives people something to look forward to. So yeah, watching football is still great, and I know we can't be there at the moment, but it's still a great thing to do on a weekend to watch. So I'm grateful for that.
Quite an important thing you mentioned there as well. I think last week we highlighted it on last week's podcast with it being Mental Health Day and stuff. But like I said, for a lot of people, psychological well-being, football is that go-to for it. So yeah, and we're glad it stayed on. And Boris has mentioned this lockdown, football will carry on, so that's good as well.
It's almost the thing that can, as much as people banter each other and stuff, it's a friendship thing. People make I've made a lot of friends from football, supporting certain teams and that. And it's that sort of unity of us just watching something and just being able to relax and and just having talking about it. It's a real stress reliever. You've had a hard week, you want to watch your team play. You want to, it's just sometimes.
No, it's wicked. And let's just go back to the Arsenal team. Start of the season. I mean, to say pre-season. Were you worried about your main man, Aubameyang, going?
I was it's weird because the longer it took, the less worried I was. It's weird. I was very worried at first, but then I started looking at the teams that wanted him, and it was almost like they started collapsing themselves. So I wasn't sure whether he would leave. Like, I looked at Barcelona, which was the main target, and they were just kind of really funny the way they were moving, and I feel like they didn't have the money, and they did whatever. But I just felt for Aubameyang, he likes the love, and he's loved at Arsenal. He's never probably had this sort of massive fan base around him. And the trophy is what made the difference. Arteta and the trophy. The fact that he won the FA Cup and he can finally say, I've done something with Arsenal that we'll remember, that was the key to him staying for me. Like, once we won the trophy, I wasn't too worried after that. But before that,
a lot of your fans were craving a trophy, weren't they, really? I mean, it was been... And I think which was really good from an Arsenal point of view, I suppose, Arteta played for the club as well.
Yeah.
So he must have understood what the club was about already, the ins and outs of the club in a way, because he did play there for quite a while. So
I think
so I think I like him, and it's great. I mean, Shinobi, the last previous meetings we've had with Arsenal, let's talk about them.
Well, where did we start? Well, in fact, we'll go to the most recent one, which was pre-season, wasn't it? I think and we beat you 3-2, yeah. But we're not going to count that, of course, with it being pre-season.
They'll count.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's only right to start off with the first fixture of last season at the Emirates. I think it was 3-2 in the end. It was, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, what a fixture that was. I mean, I think it was our second game back in the Premier League, or third, possibly. But I think at that stage of the season, it just showed what Villa were going to be about. I mean, probably never fizzled out that way, but we got off to a brilliant start, attacking intent. And I think I was in fact disappointed with that game, because if I remember correctly, you guys went down to 10 men. And I thought, you know what, we should at least nick a point, because we were leading twice, weren't we, through Wesley. So, but in the end, it was 3-2. And like I said, that gulf in class shows in the end. When you're stepping up from the Championship, them slight errors, you get punished. But yeah, 3-2. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts on that game were, King Jones.
I mean, I was already complaining about our defense, and it was very unfortunate. I was happy that we won, but I was really unhappy about defense. We just bought David Luiz, and I wasn't happy about it, and I wasn't happy about the game in general. But I thought you guys looked good. I was like, I think they look good, because I was still like on the edge about Grealish and that sort of thing, whether the team will let him. But there was a couple of players on your team I like. I like Trezeguet, I like Mings. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, this is a good team. You got some good players there. So by the end of that game, I was like, yeah, they look like a good team.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Trez, to be honest, because you know what, we always rant and rave about Trez. And funny you mentioned that, because on the back end of last season, taking us into that second fixture, it was Trez who actually scored the goal, didn't he, in the sort of home win? Yeah. And again, you know, I think every Villa fan will agree. I mean, you just cannot question his work rate. He's up and down. I've said it before, he can be a bit, headless sometimes, but he scored some vital goals for us. You know, that 1-0 win against you guys, he scored 2 against Palace. And ultimately, they were a big help in us sort of staying in the league. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so to be honest, that game, Shinobi, it was tense, weren't it? Because obviously, like, we had to stay up, and playing a team like Arsenal, trying to get points and squeeze some points out of you guys. It was the tensest game ever. I felt like for a while watching Villa play.
It was. I mean, there was a lot of lot hinging on there, wasn't there? We had, I think, if you take it a couple of games just before that Arsenal game, I remember we got beat 3-0 at home against Man United, and I thought to myself, you know, that's the final nail in the coffin. That is, you know, we had still had Arsenal to play, Palace at home, Everton away, so you know, tough fixtures.
When you face us, what comes to mind? Like, are you guys like, okay, we really need to go out there? Do you, in your brain, have a game plan? Do you look at Arsenal and think, oh, they're kind of soft, so maybe we can bully them physically, or is it just?
Yeah, I think a good point you mentioned earlier on, then, King Jones, is very much Arsenal. I think you'll agree as well. They still find themselves in that sort of transitional period where they haven't fully sort of developed under Arteta yet. So, in that perspective, you know, and I did say, in fact, for the Liverpool game as well, where they had people missing through COVID, etc., that, you know, a team can be there for the taking. I know you guys have got David Luiz back tomorrow, but just simply because of that transition. And I think, again, you guys are similar to us, a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team, to be honest. You either turn up or you don't. So I'm hoping you don't turn up and we get the 3 points.
I honestly believe you guys are going to be on the front foot. Not saying that I think you'll win. I just think that you guys are playing such attacking football now. Like, you're really going all for it. And the way Arteta likes to play, he's looked at our defence and said how bad we were. And he's really tried to build us from the back, and play from the back, slow down the play, El Nani party in the middle, try to build something up, and then slowly try and take 1 or 2 goals. Like, he seems more comfortable winning 1-0 than he would in a 3-2 game. I don't think he really likes those sort of 3-2s and 4-2s. And, you know what I mean? So,
let me put this one to you. Predictions. Let's start with King Jones. I always like to start with the other fans.
I'm going to say, yeah, definitely both of us will score. I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal. 2-1. Yeah, 2-1. I don't feel.
2-1 Arsenal. Shinobi?
Do you know what? I think it's going to be another goal fest, to be honest. I mean, not that our most recent fixture was a goal fest, but that last fixture at Emirates, 3-2, I think, you know what, we're out for revenge. Of course, we've lost our last 2 games, so we need to bounce back. So I think we're going to score goals. The good thing is we finished that game against Southampton with a bit of momentum. So I'm going for a 3-2 win. 3-2 win, rather. 3-2 victory, I was going to say.
I mean, last time I got it completely wrong. I thought someone was going to come off the bench and score, but I predicted that and it didn't happen. So I think this time, I think, like you said, I think there will be goals in this game. But I actually think, with the way the season's gone and the amount of goals people have been scoring, you know, we've had high numbers. The 7-2 that we beat Liverpool with. Last game, we were beaten 4-3. The amount of goals that were scored, it's been crazy. So, could I say it's 3-3?
3-3. Okay.
I think we'll see goals from both teams. Again, I think both defenses are slightly vulnerable. We, in our last 2 games, I mean, even though we got off to a solid start, 3 clean sheets, after that we in fact conceded 2 to Liverpool, 3 to Leeds, and 4 against Southampton. Yeah. So I think both defenses will concede. I'm just hoping that, you know, we kind of outscore you guys, to be honest, because both teams have got a lot of quality going forward. You guys, of course, Aubameyang, Lacazette, you've got Nketiah, Saka, etc. And then with us, like you mentioned, the likes of Grealish, Watkins, Barkley, Trez, you know, so a lot of quality involved in that fixture. So, like I said, I'm hoping we just simply outscore you.
That's a name that's stood out. Saka.
Yeah.
I like him.
excellent football player. The funny thing about Saka is there was a lot of Arsenal fans who follow the youth players, and they from a long time ago they're like Saka is that guy. And then I remember I watched him first game in Europa, and even though he was kind of small, he just had a bit about him. You know, he had a bit about him. And there's a few that's come through in it. You've had Willock, you've had Nelson, you've had Saka, you've had Emil Smith, you have Nketiah. But I just think Saka is like special. If you get what I'm saying, like he plays like he's already 25. He knows what he's doing. He's played on the left hand side. He's played on the right, and he just really has something in it. I put him in a level like him.
So what he came through the youth system, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty. It's pretty like our Super Jack. It's come through, and I think it's always a special thing for fans, isn't it? When someone comes through the youth system and he's a special player, there's always that special bond with the fans. Then
I was going to ask, what did you think when Jack Grealish signed the 5-year contract? Were you shocked? Were you surprised? Did you think he wanted to go? Was it like amazing?
I think it was a bit of a funny one, to be honest. Yeah. I remember I went on to Talk Sport that night, in fact, actually, and it was just, I wasn't a guest. I was just ringing Jason Cundy. I mean, we were just having a chit chat. For myself, it was a statement of intent, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's always that, little sort of seed in the back of your head where you're thinking, has he signed the 5-year contract just so we get a bit more of a fee when we sell him? Mm-hmm. But with them players that came in, like I said, Martinez, Barkley coming in, Watkins, who I still think's a brilliant signing from the Championship. Cool. And then tying Grealish down was a real statement of intent, going forward, this is what we're about. Mm-hmm. So I was delighted, to say the least. As you can see, I've got Jack's shirts up in the back.
But I think it also shows something that you don't always see in football, loyalty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do.
And that's the key, I think, now. I mean, it kind of reminds me back to the Matt Letizia, back in the day, he was always rumoured to go, but he stayed there his whole career, and he was a special player for Southampton. So it kind of reminded me of that when I seen him sign that contract again. I just thought, what a player, what a loyalty player.
Yeah.
You put Jack as like the best player that you guys have had like since 2000. So like over Bangalore, over Young.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love Gabby, and similar to yourself, King Jones. Like I said, you keep an eye on them younger players coming through the academy, and honestly, Gabby was the same. I remember sort of going back to the 2004, 2003, even before that, and I was like, do you know what? This guy, Gabby, he's going to do bits for us.
And his pace was unreal, wasn't it? When he first
he's still our leading Premier League goal scorer. So, he still is a Premier League. Honestly, and he done some damage against you guys. I'll never forget that goal where he just shoved Gallus out. I think it was Gallus. I'm sure it was Gallus.
That was at Emirates, right?
That was at the Emirates. He shoved
I don't remember any goals scored against us.
Yeah. So
no, but I went to that game at the Emirates, and it was Bangalore scored the 2, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he scored the 2.
He scored the 2, didn't he? I remember we were wearing the
blue acorns,
the kind of blue, the acorn blue, the away one.
The last game I remember was when
it was a good game, and do you know what? It was the first time I've been to the Emirates, and
really?
I have to say it is an amazing stadium. I think it really is a nice stadium.
After Villa Park.
Yeah, after Villa Park, of course.
I think the last game I remember, like one of the worst games I remember was when we lost to you guys on the 2000 debut. Yeah, 3-1. I remember it was so bad.
Oh gosh, King Jones, yeah.
I used to Arsenal Stadium. I worked at Arsenal in the merchandise store, and it was just horrendous. I could hear all the shouts, all the screams. It was just such a bad game. Yeah, well, it was good for you guys, but I remember. Yeah.
And I don't want to rub salt into the wounds here, but I mean, we had an unknown left back, Antonio Luna, aka Tony Moon, and even he scored. So that was
an amazing goal. That goal was amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, we've had in fact, correct me if I'm wrong, King Jones, I'm sure we were the first Premier League team to actually score at the Emirates. It was Olaf Melberg in a 1-1 draw.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's like 2006.
Yeah. So we got a bit of history at the Emirates.
Are you confident? Your record at the Emirates isn't too bad. Yeah,
it's not too bad. It's not too bad, actually. Yeah.
Where do you think you guys will finish?
this is such a crazy season. Like, it's the craziest season ever. I mean, I 100% think we'll finish top 6. I'm not now. Once we signed Thomas Partey, I think that was enough for us to be 100% in the top 6 conversation. But I'm actually going to put a limb out and say 4th. I'm going to say 4th. I think Man United are out the running race.
Oh yeah,
They'll come close once they sack Solskjaer. I think Everton are going to be there and thereabouts, but I just don't think they have the squad, as we've seen when they got a couple players out. I just don't think they have the squad to really compete. They have a great first 11, but their whole squad is just not. It's a bit, And I think Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool are going to be above us. Those are the teams 100%, and it's going to be us and Tottenham. Possibly you guys, Everton, are going to be fighting for the fourth.
I'll take that right now.
We will take mid-table all day long, I think.
I think you guys are going for top 10.
I agree with you, King Jones. I think I was, in fact, having a conversation with my depressed Man United fan yesterday. But again, I was just saying that, I really think we're going to finish, top 7, 8 this season. I'm not saying that. And you know what? A lot of Villa fans will probably slaughter me for setting the expectation bar so high. But, just my opinion, I really think that, with the attacking, exciting a team that we've got, I really think, there's no reasons why we can't finish, top 7, top 8.
Yeah, your front four is as good as anybody's front four, on its day. Like, I'd only say the real teams you're really competing with outside the top 4. It's like Leicester, Everton and Man United, Arsenal. I don't think most of those teams, West Ham, they're not better than you. All those teams that finished, Burnley and all those teams, you're much better than those teams.
I agree, totally agree. Yeah, this year, thankfully, there's definitely 2 shocking teams in Fulham and West Brom. So
no, you guys aren't going down.
Yeah, so you've got them 2 definitely going down. But like I said, our aim is now to kick on. And last season I said aim is priorities to stay up and ultimately then push on, which is the position we're in now. So fingers crossed, we get our sort of a campaign back on track with 3 points against you guys. Yeah.
Nah, definitely. You got a game tonight, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got a game tonight. Europa Cup, playing some team I've never heard of before, of course.
I think it's the team from Norway. Social management.
Solskjaer's team, Molde.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Might be a good fixture then. Yeah.
Right then, let's move on to the combined 11.
Okay.
This is always an interesting part of
I'll
our
save you guys
podcast.
a place. At least one.
So, we've got the combined 11 there. Obviously, I think we should. This is the last 11 players that won a game. Okay. So if you're thinking, why is this player not here? Why is this? We couldn't put everybody in on the screen, but this is the same with Villa. This is the last 11 that we won with. Yeah. We're going to go for a 4-4-2 in the interest of fairness.
Okay.
So
okay. I think we should go for a 4-3-3 simply because it's mainly what formation kind of both teams play.
Okay. Yeah.
So you want to do a 4-3-3, yeah?
What do you reckon, King Jones?
Yeah, 4-3-3 is perfect. Is what we mainly play. Yeah.
That's
exactly.
Fine,
similar
things
to
can change. That's no problem. Okay, let's go. Goalkeeper.
Well, I think it's only fair. I mean, you're not. I don't know what to say. I think King Jones will say Martinez in goals.
The real Arsenal goalkeeper, Martinez.
Okay, here he goes. That was easy.
That's an easy.
Leno's a good goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong. I think Leno's a better shot stopper, but I think as an all-round over keeper, like his distribution, he's comfortable catching the ball, and he just makes it look easier than Leno does. Leno's a keeper, but I think Martinez for me is like top 5 in the league, like top 3 in the league. I think he's just really that good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've not watched Leno over 90 minutes, of course, but I mean, from what I've seen of Martinez, I just think he's brilliant. So I couldn't agree more with what you're saying.
Yeah, fantastic.
Let's go to a left back.
Yeah,
I'm going to nominate Tierney. I mean, unless you guys got an argument there. I think.
Oh, to be honest, this is that one position which I say, we've only had 2 podcasts, but our left back is probably that one vulnerable position in that defence, which I think every Villa fan actually questions. As much as we love Matty Target, you can't even comprehend putting Neil Taylor in there. So I'm just gonna concede that left back spot and just give it to you.
So who are you saying, King Jones?
Yeah, I think I agree with Turney, to be honest. I think he's I mean, big reasons why you signed him from Celtic. He's starting to show that nice attacking sort of left back, bit of a left wing back, if you like.
Yeah, great crosser, playing the free as well.
Yeah.
How much did you sign him for, by the way? Just out of interest.
25 million. 25 million.
25.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And the Chelsea fan said he's better than Robertson. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Okay, then let's go to a right back.
Oh, right back. Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, you sell your point about your right back, and I'll just try and attempt to sell mine.
And can I just confirm, is it mainly Maitland-Niles who play? Well, is it Gabriel?
It's Bellerin now. It's Bellerin, yeah.
Oh, I beg your pardon. It's Bellerin, isn't it? Of course.
Yeah. Is Bellerin still as quick as he used to be?
He's not as quick, but he's not slow. He's still very fast. But that's not his issue going forward. Defensively, he can be a real liability. Like he gets done most time 1-on-1. Sometimes he doesn't track back enough. But going forward, he's so good that it almost makes it up for it. But if you've got an argument for your right back, maybe. But I still think he's a good right back.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love our right back. I said it last week. The podcast for Southampton game. Matty Cash has been a breath of fresh air. Nobody, in fact, even mentions him. We all talk about Martinez and Watkins and Barkley, and Cash goes right under that radar because he's been brilliant for us. Apart from that game against Leeds, where he really did get hung out to dry, I think he's been class for us. You could never tell. And again, just coming back to your point with Saka, you'd think he's played in the Premier League for a number of years, honestly. But in saying that, I'm not going to argue because I've only got 5 spaces in this team and I want to save them. So I'm going to give you that right back slot again. Okay. But again, even in a debate sort of term, if you like, I think probably Bellerin would nick that spot, to be honest. Yeah.
Just to let you know, King Jones, we can hear you, but I think you're a bit frozen. So
am I frozen? Do you want me to turn off my thing and then turn it back on?
Yeah.
You're all right. You're all right.
Whichever, which is cool. Okay, so then we need a centre-back.
Yeah, so I think I'll start my argument with the centre-back. So in terms of Arsenal, and I'm not going to lie, no disrespect, but I don't think your centre-backs ever have been comfortable, have they? I mean, I think David Luiz and I
think Gabriel's one of the best centre-backs in the league this season, if not the best.
Oh, yeah. I mean, prior to this season, of course, I mean, worth good mention that. I mean, in fact, I've got Gabriel in my fantasy team, actually. So, I mean, I like Gabriel, centre-back. So, in terms of the first centre-back, like I said, apart from Gabriel, I think that centre-back spot for you guys, for me anyway, has always been questionable. The likes of, Mustafi you had in there and Socrates or Holding or God knows all these. Yeah, and even like you said, I've always not been a big fan of David Luiz as well. I've always found him a bit rash and clumsy, but I think there's 2 slots available for centre back, so I think it's only fair if we have one each, then, isn't it? 100%,
so 100%.
So we're going for Gabriel.
Yeah,
Gabriel. Yeah,
on the left. Yeah,
on the left. Fair enough. On the left. And in terms of that second spot, then for myself, it'd be obviously a big toss between Mings and Cash. I mean, like I said, Mings is that name that always gets branded, of course, and rightly so. But again, Konsa always seems to go under the radar. But simply because he's an England international, I'm going to put Tyrone Mings in there.
Okay. I think that would be a good centre-back partnership. I think they complement each other.
Quite solid, that is, to be fair.
That looks like a good defence. I like that defence.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Boys, let's talk about the midfield.
Okay.
This is interesting.
I know who King Jones is going to say.
I think there's one world-class centre mid that we don't even have to really. I think he showed Man United. He showed everybody in the world that was comparing him to Fred and Matic and McTominay that there's levels. And I think Thomas Partey for me he's the player that has everything. I think box to box wise, he might go on to be one of the better centre mids in the Premiership. He can tackle, he can pass, he can move, he can dribble. He's really, really good. Like I'm willing to say he's the best centre mid we've had probably. Well, from what I can see from the Gilberto Silva Vieira days. So I don't know how he wouldn't get.
Fair enough. Yeah, with that spot again with Thomas Partey. I mean, to be honest with you, I never sort of heard much of him prior to the sort of move. To be honest, but I knew, of course, he was at sort of Atletico, but
Yeah.
Again, good signing. I think he's looked solid in these sort of couple of games he's played. I would have an argument with Douglas Luiz. I think he's been brilliant for us. Douglas has. Somebody we signed from Man City, who was in fact on loan at Girona in Spain, actually, but I think he came in. He's definitely grown. I remember when we signed him, one of my mates I used to work with, who follows a bit of Spanish football, mentioned how he hasn't been brilliant for Girona, and they're kind of glad that he's sort of moving on. But I mean, you know what? I couldn't disagree more with that. What we've seen from him, he's grown, he's become better, and in fact, he's even become a regular Brazilian international now. So he's just been called up again. So I think there is argument or potential room for debate if we had sort of more, time.
We're going to have 3 in the middle, isn't it? I'm willing to concede the other 2 spaces.
Oh, okay. I'll take that then.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you partay in there. Why not?
Put you in. So we've decided on.
Can I just for my OCD? Can you just drop him a bit back, please?
Good. You want it to be real holding.
Yeah, that's it. Brilliant. Perfect. So the other 2 midfield slots then. So I'm going to let you potentially start with a bit of an argument then, King Jones, of why it shouldn't be 2 Villa players.
I mean, it depends how you want to do it, because obviously El Nani's been fantastic this season. I'm not saying he hasn't. He's been great. I like him. I'm a big fan. But I'm not desperate to get him in the team over getting the guys in the front 3. You know what I mean? That's one. And I do think in this team, the way that this team is looking, because Thomas Partey's there, I think you have potential to put another Aston Villa centre mid and a more attacking midfielder through that team. That's what
it's got to be Barkley, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have gone for, and I quite agree with you there, by the way, King Jones. Them 2 spots, I think, in the midfield. And I'm going to say this because I consider Grealish as a top 3. Yeah. So I would probably have to put, and again, I do like El Nene. I wouldn't say like he's, absolutely amazing, but he does a job. Right? But again, in terms of, and again, I watch Villa over 90 minutes. I'm going to be a bit biased, of course, but I would put in there probably McGinn and Barkley, to be honest.
I think McGinn's been very good. I'm a big fan of McGinn.
I mean, you know what? I seen of course, you're involved in all these sort of groups on Facebook, etc. I seen somebody comment today in one of the groups saying it's a bit debatable whether or not we should give McGinn a new contract and he needs to improve. And you know what? Normally I don't. Honestly, I really don't pick out arguments, but I had to stop and comment on that post. I said, mate, whatever you've been smoking, you need to get off it. Yeah.
No, he's a great player. He's great. I like him. I'm a big fan of him, and Barkley has really shown his quality already. I think Barkley is a criminally underrated player from how long he's in the Prem. So I'm ready to say that. So I do want to say Ceballos is not around for me to be able to select. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I do like Ceballos, actually. That's the one you've got from Real Madrid, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I think he done all right last season as well. I remember sort of bits and bobs. I think with him, though, you get a lot of flashes, don't you? Similar to, I suppose you can say with most players, but flashes of brilliance. But yeah, I would have to stick with Barkley and McGinn in there. Which takes us up top. By the way, we've got Martinez, we've got Mings. Oh, that leaves us, in fact, only one more player up front, which is obviously...
Don't worry. No more than that.
Yeah. So what I'll do then is we'll pop that left winger up there, which I think King Jones will agree has to be Grealish.
Of course.
Yeah. And then that, of course, leaves you with your 2 slots up front. So
I'm going to make an argument for these slots anyway, even though there's no real...
Yeah. You could have put Saka, potentially.
Yeah, I think up front, it can only be one player. I think he's been one of the best strikers in the Premiership since he's joined. He's been top goal scorer. He was almost top goal scorer last season. He scores in big games, scored in the FA Cup final. He's just a fantastic. He's quick. He worked hard. He's our captain. He's a Aubameyang.
Hey. Right. So would you not possibly? And this is just a question. Would you not possibly? Because this is what I was thinking. Yeah. Would you not possibly? Although he doesn't actually play in that position, wouldn't you possibly put Aubameyang on the right? Because he has played on the left as part of a front 3, hasn't he? So if we put him on the right, and of course Lacazette up front.
The reason I wouldn't do that, and Laka has played that thing, I just think what Saka offers, though it's not as much goals, I think Saka has been more effective in a lot of games, because I think Saka follows tactics to the end. He works hard. He does a lot of key passes. You know, a lot of those passes that you don't really notice. A lot of those runs that don't get noticed as much. And I just think that he's more effective on the wing than Aubameyang. I mean, then I would say Laka is up front. And I do think Aubameyang could make up for those goals. And when you've got Grealish in that team, you know.
I think that's a good argument, to be fair. I never considered that. And just whilst we're on that point, in fact, I just want to go back to when we mentioned Saka.
Yeah.
And this is where my other bone to pick with Gareth Southgate is it's not just simply because of how much he doesn't like Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
I mean, don't even get me started on that. However, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong again. Did he or did he not play Saka at left back for England?
He did, yeah. I don't know why. I'd Maitland-Niles.
I don't know what to say. And you know what? People think I hate Southgate simply because of how he treats Jack Grealish. I mean, that's a massive factor, but he's up. Anyway, let's not get started on that.
But yeah, I mean, so we've got one place left, boys.
No, that's going to be Saka, isn't it?
It is?
Into that.
Okay. I mean, that is a decent side.
No, it's a great side.
I think so, yeah.
It's really good, that side.
So, yeah, just as a quick recap then for those who are watching us on potentially YouTube or Twitter. So we've gone for Martinez in goals. Our left back is Tierney. We've gone for Mings and Gabriel in the centre with Hector Bellerin on the right. In that middle, and by the way, we've gone for a 4-3-3. We've got Partey holding that middle with Barkley and McGinn pulling the strings in middle. And up three then, Grealish on the left with Saka on the right and Aubameyang up front. I think that's a class team, that is, to be honest.
Really before we move on from this, is there any one or two players that you look at from your side and you think that's an honourable mention? That player just didn't make it, but he's the player worth mentioning.
Yeah, quite a few, to be honest. Like I said at the start, I think Konsa always deserves a shout, always goes under Mings' shadow. He's been brilliant for us, he has, honestly.
I think Dougie.
Yeah, Dougie, again, like I said, Dougie would have been a good argument, but again, sort of I think Partey wins that one. But like I said, Dougie's, become a Brazilian international under us, so is the progress he's made. Cash, of course, like I mentioned earlier on, I can argue for days about Cash. I really like him. Target is that one, unfortunately. As much as I like Target, the Shermanator, as much as I love him, right, he's just, that left-back spot for us is such a vulnerable spot, and, he gets caught out quite a bit, but, it is what it is. And Watkins, again, I think, as much as I love Watkins, you can't compare him to, but maybe in a couple of years we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, Watkins, I think, misses out, unfortunately. But again, like I said, Lacazette, I do really like Lacazette. I like Willian, to be honest.
Willian as well, yeah.
I mean, I've always liked Willian.
Yeah, I like him. He's an experienced Premiership player, Premier League player, isn't he? So
and with Willian, you just know what you're going to get, aren't you? He just delivers every game, to be honest.
Definitely.
Yeah. How about yourself, King Jones? Who would you say that
I would have said William would have got honourable mention. I just think Saka's more on an upward trajectory than William is, and William's getting on. I think Laka on his day, maybe a season ago, he definitely, and El Nani just for his performances this season gets an honourable mention. I just think the team that were already there, I think McGinn outshone, what El Nani has done overall. I think Barkley's a much more creative player, and I think Partey is a party. So, those are the players that I would have been like an honourable mention to. Defensively, nobody that's not in this team is not worth mentioning.
Yeah. And also on that note then, if it had to be either Dean Smith or Arteta managing this team.
I'd pick the FA Cup winner.
Oh, okay. I'd probably pick the promotion winner. No, I think my argument with that, right, is Arteta, very much an upcoming manager, like Nilesh said earlier, not just only learning from Pep, but some of the managers he played under as well, I think he's a good manager. He'll come good over a period of time. Similar with Dean Smith, I think. But my only argument for Dean Smith is I just think the immense job he's done in this short period of time. I keep banging on about it like a broken record, but it's been about, I think, a month since it's been 2 years to the day. And, he's got us from mid-table in the Championship up to the Premier League, kept us in the Premier League, took us to a cup final. And I think for a club that's, don't get me wrong, you can never change the history or the size of Aston Villa, but in terms of current team performances, I think that's just immense.
I think also last season, he kept us up, but he also, he had personal things going on.
Absolutely.
but he still managed to keep his focus on Villa, and he just shows how passionate he is about this club. And
Yeah, I think they're both similar sort of attacking managers, aren't they?
I think Dean Smith's football has completely increased this season as well. So you have to give him credit for that. Not only but his style has changed with the players that are improved in the team. So yeah, I think he's a fantastic manager. I just think Arteta might be special. I really believe that he's really something special that's going to go down as like a special.
Yeah, I think he will, to be honest. I agree with you, to be honest. I liked Arteta as a player. Just you can tell the way somebody comes across, you know. But I like Arteta, liked him as a player, liked him as a manager. All the best to him, apart from, this Sunday.
I've just had a message from one of our other members, and he's just said, you've not mentioned Ozil.
Oh, well,
Arteta hasn't mentioned him either.
I think it is quite important to mention Ozil. I think King Jones talked about a bit of a political debate earlier on. But yeah, I mean, listen, take nothing away from him as a footballer. I think we all know how much of a class act he is. Assists, goals, just general, the way he connects that team up, pulls strings. It's a shame to see him, on the sidelines and, not involved, to be honest. I don't know what your stance on that is, King Jones, but...
Well, he's a fantastic guy because he's paying for Gunnosaurus's wages. So, based on that already.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, not to mention a lot of other stuff he does that, which seems to go unnoticed. And one thing I must say, I do feel for him a bit because he does a lot of work and, you get people commenting stuff like, well, he's probably just feeling guilty with all that money he's earning, etc. But yeah, good player. I had a crazy thought last night where, I'd love to have him in the Villa team. But I think he's a brilliant player. He'll get his move in January, I think. But yeah, for those asking about Ozil, I think nobody can question his class, to be honest.
No, he's a fantastic football player and we wish him the best.
Absolutely.
It's been really good, guys, but we're just going to move on. King Jones, just to let you know, you've been unfortunate, but your camera's been off. But we've been good, though, because we can still hear you, which is amazing. Like I say, people, this is our third podcast, so we will have technical issues here and there. Here he is. Here he is. That's all we needed.
He was hiding for the combined 11.
It scared me.
We're just going to get back to you in a sec, King Jones, but we just need to move on to something which is a project that Shinobi is working on. Here we go. Shinobi, do you want to tell people what this is all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So just want to mention, first of all, then last week, of course, on the podcast, we talked about mental health awareness and how important it can be. So we were promoting LAMP and that sort of charity in terms of T-shirts. This time around, then, we're talking about potential risk of type 2 diabetes. So, of course, with the lockdown, I was going to say pending, the lockdown in force now, actually. Again, not sure if anybody's aware, but diabetes is, in fact, on the rise. So especially those who are perhaps now spending more times indoors, lack of activity, perhaps, etc. Again, can be a good tool to use. So if you head on over to the NHS website, the easiest way I would say is get onto Google, pop in type 2 diabetes NHS. We have what's called a self-assessment tool. A couple of quick questions, and it gives you a bit of an idea as to whether or not you may be at risk of developing type 2. So again, simple lifestyle changes to both diet and exercise. And again, it does in fact only take a couple of minutes. So like we said, it can be quite beneficial. Of course, one thing that's worth mentioning is, in fact, 6 out of 10 people will show no signs of symptoms of being on the borderline for type 2. So we'll have a look, hopefully, like we said, on the next session. We'll try and post some more information as well. But for the meantime, if you want to head over, in fact, to our Instagram or our Twitter page, we're going to be posting more information on there, as well as the link itself to sort of check your risk assessment, if you like.
No, it's really good. And I think it's really good that people are aware of that as well. So no, brilliant stuff. Excellent. So let's see. Have we got him? Is he there? Is there? King?
Is he there? King Jones?
King's in the building? Yes, he is.
I'm alive. Yeah.
He is.
That was an amazing thing of talking about diabetes. I just wanted to turn everything off to focus on that. It was an amazing speech.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, last week we talked about the mental health charity that we actually support at the moment, and this week was about the diabetes. So although we are a supporters group, we are a supporters group with a bit of a difference as well, because we want to help where we can. We also want to make sure that people from all backgrounds can attend Villa Park and don't have a perception about the game, and we can give them that match day experience. And we just want to connect with different fans, similar to what you do. So it's been great today. Really good to hear what you do.
Yeah, and before we
it's brilliant.
Brilliant, absolutely. I was just going to say, King Jones, if you want to do any shout outs or particular pages or channels that, of course, you run.
I want to do a
we've
massive
got no time. I'm only joking.
I want to do a massive shout out to my mum. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Mum. I love you.
Happy birthday, Mumsy.
November the 5th, Guy Fawkes Day. Yes. The best woman in my life, even though she doesn't like football.
I just want to say to all the viewers, and thank you for all the support again. I know we've just got into lockdown again. Let's just keep positive. If there's anybody that wants to reach out to us and just want to talk, we're more than happy to do that. But keep positive, keep safe, and we'll get through this. Don't worry.
Absolutely, yeah. And a couple of things I want to mention as well. Like I said, we're going to post the links to them, sort of knowing your risk of potential type 2 diabetes on Twitter and Instagram. So like I said, can be quite important to go and check that out. King Jones, at King Jones, if you want to follow him on Twitter. Like you mentioned at the start of the session, he's got a number of different sort of initiatives. Is it the Pull Up Project you mentioned?
Pull Up, non-stop content, NONSTOPCONTENT on YouTube and on Instagram. You'll find him there talking about the badge.
But you know what? Well, your mate has got a great name. What's your mate's name on Insta?
Podfather.
The Podfather.
The Podfather. There we go. So yeah, go and check out the Podfather if you want to maybe if you've got any Arsenal fans potentially who have somehow managed to tune in. Like we said, go give them a follow. As always, we want to say a big shout out to Luke Roper, of course, the AVFC Foundation, Anwar, Kick It Out, the FSA, who all sort of show us a lot of continued support. So thank you very much for that.
Peace out, people.
Take care, and nice to meet you as well. And I don't wish you all the best for Sunday, but beyond that, I do.
I'll send my condolences to you after the game.
See you later,
guys. Take care. Bye-bye.